All right, everybody. We are on again for another segment of Marketing Muse Inc. interview, and our guest for today is the gorgeous another Vanessa. Of course, Vanessas are always gorgeous. I'm sorry, Shans, but we have Vanessa Ann Miller. Vanessa, can you just go ahead and go right at it? Give us like your 30-second spiel of who you are, what you do, and who do you help.
Yeah, well, thank you too for having me here. I like to call myself the mindset of marketing coach because the techniques that I use help women eliminate any kind of limiting beliefs, limiting decisions, negative emotions to really step into their power so they can show up powerfully in their sales and their marketing. And the techniques that I teach them help them with impeccable communication with their audience because they begin to understand the way the mindset works and how people perceive their marketing. And so that's why I call myself the mindset of marketing coach.
That is so awesome. That's like very unique. That's the first time that I actually heard from anywhere that I have been like listening. And I love your podcast, by the way. And congratulations for your second season.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I love how you actually like, gear all of your podcast chats. And I always look forward to it actually. And but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty of like things of what we're gonna be talk about is manifestations, right?
Yeah, I talk about manifestations a little bit more recently in my business because people are wanting to manifest paid in full clients, if they're network marketers, that dream team that is motivated, or the infamous 10K months. And, now I'm seeing more of like those 100K months, all the things that people want out there. And so manifesting is so much more than just setting an intention and putting a desire out there. There's a lot of brain science that comes with manifestation. And because of things that I teach in my business, it comes naturally for me to make sense of like how to easily manifest the dream life and dream business that, we all want. And that's why we, start a business because we want to create this lifestyle that
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship can afford both in monetarily and luxury and then time freedom and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
so manifestation has a lot of the basis of the marketing and the sales that we do because first it starts with that seed of like what we're wanting to plant.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I've been able to help my clients by understanding how the brain works, being able to help them manifest a lot quicker with ease and just a lot more fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like these are like, the word manifestation have been used loosely, but when we go deeper, what is like, if you would explain it to Oliver, right? Or to Andrew, we both have like toddlers. And if you were to go ahead and explain it in a five with a 5-year-old, what is manifestation means? Because we all want to like, oh, okay, manifestation is so easy, and some people would say like, oh, it doesn't even work. So how can you explain it to a 5-year-old? What is manifestations?
That is a great question. No one's ever asked me that before. And what I would say is that manifestation is like having this imagination of all the things that you want and you desire. So for a toddler, they may, a toddler boy, they may want this fire truck. So in their mind, they like really want a fire truck for Christmas. And so manifestation would be thinking about it, maybe even asking their parents for it, and then it comes into reality. So it's not just like, oh, I want this, and we're begging and, like crying about it. It's really dreaming about it and then asking for it and then allowing yourself to receive it without trying to control things. And so that's what I would probably say to a child. It's like, you want it, you believe it, you ask for it, and then you wait for it.
Oh, that is so good because my Andrew, he would ask about this mini Tesla car. He's like, how much do I need in order for me to get the Tesla car? What do I need to do? You see how 5-year-olds are actually like thinking this? and how they can actually manipulate it into the real world on how to actually receive it.
There's a reason behind that. So
Oh,
when we're from ages 0 to 7, we don't necessarily have like the critical faculty in our brains to filter out information. And so we are still establishing our belief systems of what is possible for us. And so in their minds, they're going to think about, okay, this is what I want and how am I going to go about it? And they're going to be strategic about it. They're going to ask these questions. They're going to be very curious. And as an adult, if we didn't have that as a kid, or if we didn't get something as a kid and now we want to manifest it, we don't ask those questions because in our belief system, it's we didn't get it before. So we're not going to allow our brains to go to work to figure out, to problem solve on how we're going to get that. And so I love that he's asked you those questions. That just shows that, he's in his manifestation like mojo, like he has, the clarity there, he doesn't have the filter blogging him down.
that is so good because, like, this kind of like takes us to your 3 tips. So, can you go ahead and give us with like the first tip that you would tell an adult right now? Because it just somehow kind of like negate just like what you said. We just stop believing it at first, but we're asking and dreaming about it. But how do we get to that? So give us like your first 3 good tips that we can start implementing as an action taker. I always love to go in and like, okay, give it to me, Vanessa.
So when we start to want something, we think that saying affirmations and really forcing it, like we're almost lying to ourselves. We will recite these affirmations that sometimes we don't believe. And then we end up giving up too soon because those affirmations aren't working. And so it's not necessarily that you have to recite affirmations and things are going to happen. It's deeper than that. It's a deeper structure of change that needs to happen. And that happens on a neurological level. Because if the blueprint to make that manifestation come true is not within our subconscious, if it's not within our neurology, then we're not going to know the actions to take. And so affirmations, I would say number 1, affirmations, if that's what you're doing, you need to go deeper. Affirmations are just kind of like piling dirt on top of things instead of going to the root cause. And then secondly, I would say when we do the affirmations, it gets to the point, like I mentioned, like we give up because we try to control it. I remember when I had my first boyfriend and I was so young and I just wanted him to give me all this attention. And he was just like a young kid. And, his father told me, he's like, Vanessa, it's like holding a cat and you want to smother a cat. What's it going to do? It's going to jump out of your arms. You can't try to control things. You have to allow the process to happen. You have to allow someone to give to you. You have to allow yourself to receive. And so that's number 2 is like releasing control. And I don't mean like releasing control of your actions, but releasing control of your outcome. You take ownership of your actions and do what you can, and then allow the outcome to come however it may come to you. So I guess technically that's kind of like 2 points right there, is like releasing that and taking ownership of your actions to be able to manifest what you want.
That is so true because, like, I was just talking to my husband and he was just like, is it me? Am I going crazy? Is it because that I have it all in my head that I want, but it's just like the outcome that I don't like, and he's just resisting it, and that is like so true because when you have these thoughts, these dreams, this belief that you will get what you're asking for, but like, wanting, right? But the outcome from your actions, like you start like doing something else. Regrets. That's one of them. If not, they're like, why is it happening to me? Right.
Yeah, and then that's a good point there too, is that our language, being mindful of our language during the waiting process is so important. people don't understand that there is a secret language of manifestation. And that secret language is talking, like having toward language of what you desire. You're, if you want to get out of debt and you're focused on like, oh, I want to get out of debt, I want to get out of debt, or you're focusing on the things that you don't want, you're going to get more of it because your reticular activating system. I know this is so nerdy and like I'm going through like the nerdy tech, or, you know, the scientific words for it, but your reticular activating system is programmed to look for that over and over again. When you can use a secret language of manifestation and talk towards what you want, then you get there a lot faster. Like your brain goes and picks up, like, oh, there it is. That's what I want. I'm going to go there.
Yeah, I hear this a lot from Mel Robbins, to be more specific, because she would go in and give these kind of talks inside her YouTube. I think that she has her own like show also. I've heard it from like another mindset coach that I follow on everywhere. He's on IG and everything else. But just to go ahead and like, I know that you're actually giving a 21-day manifestation. Is it like an audio or something?
It's an email sequence that goes over 21 days. And each day you get a worksheet. And the worksheet will have an exercise. In order for you to create change, it must happen on an identity level. And there's 3 things that happen for that change to occur. And so I take you through the process of creating that change, like you ease into it. So by the end of the 20 days, you see this major transformation because you're doing these baby steps of repetition and just different exercises to get you into the mindset of a powerful manifester. And at
That's
the end, you get the full workbook, but it's like baby steps.
nice, nice. And it's always good to have like baby steps, because you can't really take a big leap, especially if you're like not really believing in it yet, right? And you have to like embody it, right? That's the second part, is to like, sure, you're affirming something, but do you really believe it down to your cellular, right?
Sure,
And
yeah.
how can you like feel it, smell it, or even like sense it? Because if you're not in that mode, it's gonna go against you. But I know that you also have a quantum leap program too, and I haven't got a chance to go on and like dive into it in full context, because I have been in Vanessa's like few workshops already. Those are like phenomenal. And tell us more about like quantum leap. I know that we've already talked about your 21-day email series, but then now to the nitty gritty part on how you actually help, like, uh pretty much any entrepreneur, right? Tell us, like, walk us through with your quantum leap program.
Yeah, that is my baby. So I tell people, don't come into my DMs and ask me questions about the quantum leap unless you like want me to like spiel. Like it's like I knew my newborn baby that I gush about. And so the quantum leap is marrying the woo and the practical. In order for you to get your brain on board, so you have your conscious awareness and your unconscious mind, in order for them to work together, you got to invite the logic and the woo or the emotion so you can reach your goals. And so that's what we do inside the Quantum Leap program. It's a group program with so much accountability and so much support. And I don't want to say our flagship, but our major event every single month is a 2.5 hour workshop called the CEO Power Planning, where we look at the metrics of our business and we make decisions based off of logic and emotion. A lot of times entrepreneurs quit because they're like feeling, they make choices out of how they feel. Someone didn't engage in my group, so I feel like I'm not seeing, no one likes me, I'm going to quit that. No, let's look at the metrics and then let's see, how are you showing up? How do you feel about that? And then you make a decision that way. And so they pledge out their next 30 days inside the CEO Power Planning. And then the following week, we have a hot seat where they bring their plan in. They're like, okay, this is how I'm going to reach my goal, my income goal for the next month. And these are the content topics I'm going to talk about. And what do you think about this? And then we have I actually just wrapped up a co-working cohort that we have every Tuesday to get work done. I like to say, because we channel your higher mind for divine business guidance during the CEO power planning, I like to say that this program is where your inner goddess meets your badass CEO that delegates to that motivated doer in you, like that action taker in you. And so you're getting the support, you're getting the accountability. It's not a program where you just go and like you just leave it on your digital shelf. Like this is like in a community where you get things done. And so I'm so excited about that because people are getting what they need. So many times we start a business thinking we got to do the reels, we got to do the trends, but there is a foundation to building a business if you want longevity, if you want it to be sustainable. And so that's what the Quantum Leap program is.
Yeah, build for scalability, not for burnout, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
And I did went into like, Vanessa's like CEO day, the goddess day. That was like amazing. And it was like a really digging deep into like who you are as a CEO. And you really like, break it down from like the neurological science behind it, giving like an accountability, which is like a huge major thing for anybody who's like starting to build an online business. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up and see how we can get a hold of you. Do you have a Facebook group that you are actually nurturing your members in?
Yeah. So my brand is the Aligned Businesswoman. And so you can find the Aligned Businesswoman Facebook group as well as the podcast on your favorite streaming app.
Yeah, I use Spotify a lot. I know that you are on I guess in Apple now too, right? It just got like approved.
Yeah, last season. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very, very exciting. And I highly recommend for you guys to actually listening to the podcast, joining into her group. I've done like a couple of like the workshops that she already ran, and then Quantum Leap is so, so important, especially if you need that, the accountability piece part of it. It's always good to have a sounding board, and especially for a mindset coach like Vanessa. She is someone that I actually like, I reach out to from time to time, just in case if I needed some like, a little bit of like reality check. And sometimes she's like a huge muse to me. But anyways, thank you so much, Vanessa, for taking the time and the value bombs that you just like dropped with us. But I'll be getting all of your links to follow down to your podcast and everything else. But before we leave, stay on with me. And I just want to go ahead and like give us like your last tip or the last word for our audience.
My last tip. Okay, let me see. I think that often we get too much in our heads
Mm-hmm.
and we overthink and we don't act. And so just give, if you want me to give you permission, but this is me telling you, give yourself permission to be guided by your intuition. If something doesn't feel right, like really tune into your body because your body can't steer you wrong, and just allow the process to happen. Because in neurolinguistic programming, we say that there's no such thing as failure, only feedback. And so you're going to learn a lesson either way. You're going to win or you're going to win. So.
Yeah, that's a good one. So for those who are like thinking, why is it happening to me? It's happening for you, but it only really relies on the actions that you took and just assess after the feedback. But that was a great one. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And I'm going to go ahead and post in the group all of the show notes and everything and how to get a hold of you, even down to the 21-day email series. That would be something that I would look forward to. So thank